Welcome to this beginner-friendly tutorial on creating your first Python mobile to-do app. In this video, we'll use Python and Kivy to build a simple yet functional task manager that runs on your phone. Whether you're new to mobile development or just exploring Kivy, this step-by-step guide will help you get started. Let's dive in and bring your ideas to life. So this is what we're gonna be creating. So right here we have the splash screen. Okay. So this is the home page. Right here on the home page, you can see we have our to-do task displayed here. So here you can you can complete the task. So here on the left is the priority level indicator. Then here we have title, date. With this one we can update, right? So let me just put random text at the end here and save. Are you sure you want to update this to-do task? Yes. You can delete it. You can add one. So I'm just gonna put random information here. Press OK, agent, and save. Right. Then here you can log out. So here you can log in and register. So this is basically what we're gonna be doing. So we're just gonna keep this tutorial simple. So let's get to it. In the video description, I've left a link to this template folder. So this template folder is structured like this. We have the app folder here, and inside this app folder we have this init.py file. So this is where everything is going to be imported, like our assets, our images, our fonts, our screens, and our custom widget. Then underneath this app folder we have assets. Inside the assets we have fonts, then we have images. So this is where we have our logo and I believe our animated GIF, our loading GIF, and some images we're gonna be using in this tutorial. Then underneath the assets folder we have views. So views, this is where we're gonna store all our screens. So right now we have this home screen and this create screen.py. So what this create screen.py does is it just automates creating screens for us. So it's gonna create our screen inside the folder. So inside this folder there will be an init.py file. There will be a Python file named after our screen and a KV file named after our screen. So if you open this home folder, right, we're gonna see that we have home.kv and home.py and this init.py file. Then underneath this views folder we have widgets. So in our widgets folder, this is where we're gonna put our custom widgets, right? So for this video, right, we already have in our buttons.py file we already have a custom drop down. Then our models.py is empty. Our pop-ups we have confirm pop-up and warning pop-up. Tables.py is empty. Textfield.py. So textfield.py is a text field widget, and this text field widget inherits from text input. Underneath this widget folder we have main.py. So main.py imports the main app from our app folder, then runs everything. So underneath this main.py file we have this session.json. So before we start, we need to open our terminal, and inside this terminal I'm gonna paste this command. So I left this command in the video description. So what this is going to do is just gonna install the latest version of KivyMD. So yeah, I'm just gonna press enter. But I already have this installed, so just gonna say requirement already satisfied. So after running this command, you're just gonna run the app. So we should get a white screen. So if you look at our image, the image on our screen, so I'm just gonna minimize this so that we're just gonna view the image a lot better. We have this splash screen. So what we're gonna do is we open our terminal, right? We need to put this back up. Just gonna enter clear. Okay. So when we're showing the views folder structure, right? We talked about this create screen.py file, right? So what we're gonna do is use this to create our screen. So inside our terminal, I'm gonna say cd views, and now that we're in the views folder, I'm gonna say Python create screen.py. Then I'm gonna name our screen splash, right? So I'm just gonna press up inside our terminal. Then I'm gonna create a second screen, which I'm gonna call auth, right? So now I'm just gonna minimize my terminal. Then I'm gonna navigate to the app folder, then open the init.py file. Then on top of this home folder, I'm gonna import our splash screen and our auth screen. So here I'm gonna say import splash auth splash. I'm just gonna control C and V this, and here I'm gonna say auth, and this is going to be auth. Then I'm just gonna scroll downwards. Then I'm gonna copy this screen here. Then I'm gonna paste it twice. So the first one is going to be splash. The second one is going to be auth. Then I'm gonna change the name here to splash screen and auth screen, right? Then I'm gonna save this here. So if you run this, right, now the first screen that's going to be displayed is the splash screen. So if you work on the splash screen, then we make sure that whenever we run the app, it's gonna run for like 5 to 10 seconds, then it's gonna change to the auth screen. Then inside the auth screen, we're just gonna do the registering, the logging in stuff in there, right? Then we can proceed to the home screen. Okay, so now I'm just gonna close this. Then I'm just gonna navigate to views, then splash and splash.kv. Right. So if you look at our image, right, we have this logo here, we have this loading GIF, then we have some text at the bottom. So inside our splash screen, right, we need to change this to a float layout. Then get rid of this orientation. Then give this float layout some background color. So I'm gonna say canvas.before, then color RGBA, then RGBA open parentheses. Then inside this parentheses, I'm gonna put just like F5, F5, F5. So this is a light gray color. Then I'm gonna say rectangle, then pause going to be self-plot pause, then size is going to be self-plot size. So okay, let's not run it just here. I'm gonna put a name D card. Okay. Then I'm gonna say size int and none, none, and size is going to be, I put 80 display pixels, then 80 display pixels. In style, I'm gonna set it to elevated. Radius, we're gonna set it to 5,5,5,5. Then we're gonna say color. I'm gonna set this to custom. Then MD underscore BG underscore color. I'm gonna set it to like 556D2F. So this is like olive green. So all of that's the color we're just gonna be maintaining. I'm maintaining white, light gray, and olive green. Then just gonna give these MD cards some padding, and gonna set it to 10 display pixels, and we're gonna give this MD card positioning int, since we're putting this MD card inside a float layout. So we're gonna say pause int, and say center x. We're gonna set it to 0.5, so that's at the center horizontally. Then we're gonna say center y. We're gonna set it to, let's say, 0.7. So let's just run this and see if it's looking up. Okay, let's proceed. So inside this MD card, we're gonna put an image. Right. So our image is going to be coming from assets, then images, then what's the name of our logo? So it's logo white.png. Okay, so here we're gonna say logo white.png. Then let's look at our splash image again. So underneath that one we have this loading GIF, right? Then underneath that we're gonna have an MD label. So let's go back to splash.kv. Underneath here we're gonna say image. Then we're gonna give this image some size int. I'm gonna set this to none, none. Then size, I'm gonna set it to, I'm gonna say 35 display pixels, 35 display pixels. Then I'm gonna say source. So our loading GIF is going to be coming from sets, images. So this is loading underscore gif.gif. Okay, so loading gif.gif.gif. Then we're gonna give this, and just copy this. So I'm gonna set it to the center horizontally. Then vertically I'm just gonna put it at let's say 0.17. Okay. Then underneath this loading GIF, right, we're gonna put an MD label. So here I'm gonna say size int y. I'm gonna set it to none, and our height, I'm gonna set it to 20 display pixel. Then we're gonna say text. So let's look at our splash.png. So our text was all rights reserved. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that. If you have something better to put here, you just put it. But yeah, I'm just gonna say all rights reserved. Then our edge align. So I'm just gonna align this to the center. Our font is going to be label. Then row is going to be small. Color, just gonna say hashtag 8D 8A 8C. Then we need to give this composition names. So this one we're just gonna say 0.5. So let's run this and see how our splash screen looks. Okay, it's looking good, looking exactly like our splash.png. So okay, so now let's open, let's open our splash.py. So in our splash.py file, right, we're just gonna make sure that our splash screen is displayed for like 5 to 10 seconds, then it switches to our alt screen. So underneath here, we're gonna say, so here we're gonna say define switch screens self comma bugs. Here we're gonna say try. So we're gonna say session. So if you remember the session.json file underneath our main.py file, so we're just gonna store it inside this session file. Session file is equals to session.json. Then here we're gonna say with open session file. Then we're gonna put so that we can be able to read this and file. Then you're gonna say session is equals to JSON dot read file. So we need to import JSON here. So import JSON. This should be load. Then underneath there we're gonna say gonna need some user ID. Because if you open our session.py file, our session.json, we have this user ID which is set to 0 and our username which is set to empty. Right, so if you go to our splash screen, right, on top of this on enter function, say user underscore ID is equals to, so we're just gonna make this numeric property. So here underneath here we're gonna say user underscore ID is equals to session dot get user ID. Right. Then we're gonna say if you look at our session.json, our user ID is set to 0. But whenever we put a user ID in a database, let's say for example we use Postgres SQL, the first users are just gonna be designated user ID. So the logic we're just gonna put here is if the session is close to 0, right? If the user ID is 0, the splash screen is just gonna switch to the alt screen. But if it's not 0, if it's a number, gonna switch and go to the home screen, right? So if we are going to implement our logout function, just gonna be, whenever we log out, we are going to set the username to 0, so that whenever open the system again, just gonna start the login process. So here we're gonna say if user ID is equals to 0, right? And I say md app dot get running app dot root dot ads dot. So let's open ini.py file inside our F code. So what we just did here, right? We're just gonna go to this. We're gonna navigate to this main app, then this main window. Then we're just gonna go to the screen underscore manage. Then we're just gonna switch from this one to this one. So I need to copy this. Go back to splash.py. Paste it here. Then I'm gonna say dot current is equals to, so if it's 0, it's going to be auth underscore screen. So let me put this inside quotes. Let me copy this, and this one is going to be else, just like this. So I need to import this MD app. So I'm going to import it from KivyMD app import MD app. And here I'm going to say accept file not found error. Then we're just going to return none. So let's say we don't find this session.json. So our splash screen is just gonna remain displayed. So we're not gonna be able to switch or do anything. Just gonna be showing our logo, that MD label at the bottom, and our login GIF is just gonna be loading and stuff. So we need to code this, right? So we need to get rid of this return underneath our own enter function. Excuse me. So here we're gonna say clock dot schedule once. So we need to import this clock. So we're gonna import this from kivy.clock. So here we're gonna say self dot switch screens. We need to get rid of this parenthesis. Then we're gonna say comma 0.1. Okay. So let me run this and see if it works. Okay, we need to set this to, let's say, 5. Okay, so this is working, right? So now let's work on our auth screen. Okay, let me get rid of this splash png. Let me put this one here. I don't think we're gonna need session.json. Okay, so let's open our auth and open auth.kv and auth.py. So okay, let me just open our splash.kv and copy this canvas before, and I'm just gonna paste it here. Inside this box layout, I'm going to put in a screen manager. I'm going to say screen manager. I'm going to give this screen manager an ID of auth screen manager. Then I'm going to put two screens inside. So MD screen. The first one we're gonna call it login screen. So I'm just gonna duplicate this and call the second one register. So I'm just gonna put a lot of space here so that I can be able to work. Then inside this MD screen, right, I'm gonna put a float layout. Then I'm gonna give this float layout size int. I set it to 1,1. Then inside this float layout, I'm gonna put an MD card. So I'm just gonna go back to our splice screen and just copy this. So we can just speed up everything. So I'm just gonna position this MD card at the center. Then I'm gonna give this size int of size int y. Now I'm gonna set it to, let's say, 350 display pixels should be fine. So this is going to be height. So this is going to be spacing. Just gonna leave it at 10. Spacing is going to be 10 display pixels. Need to give this MD card some orientation also. So orientation going to be vertical. So let's look at our login screen. Okay, so at the top here we have a logo. So we're just gonna copy the one we put inside the splice screen. Then we're just gonna make it smaller. So let's go back to our auth screen. And I need here, let's put an anchor layout. Then I'm gonna say anchor X going to be center, so that our logo is just gonna be centered at the center. Let's give this size int. So okay. Y, let's set it to none. Then the height, let's set it to 60 display pixels. Okay, so now let's go back to our splash.kv and let's just copy everything. Let's paste it here. And we type this inside. So this here is going to be size int X. Right. And this is going to be self dot height. So this is just going to calculate the height of the anchor layout. Then just going to set it as our width. Then we need to change this to width. Okay. We need to get rid of this positioning int. So okay. I need this anchor layout. Let's look at our login.png. So we have this MD label. So let's just copy the one we used. Excuse me, the one we used in our splice screen. Then we just get rid of the gray color. So let's copy this from color here and auto.kv and paste it. So let's get rid of this color and let's look at our login.png. So our label says enter your credentials to sign in. Okay. So let's get rid of this. Enter your credentials to sign in. Okay. Underneath that, what do we have? So we have this text input, and text input is contained inside a box layout, and our box layout has a line also. We need to create this rectangular line. Then we're gonna put an icon and our text field. So here we're gonna put a box layout. Then we're gonna give this box layout some orientation of vertical. Then we're just gonna give this some spacing. Let's just set it to 10 display pixels. Then look at our image, right? We need to change this because if you look at our login.png, there's a lot of space between the label, the logo, and the text input underneath. So let's just try to up it to maybe 60 display pixels. Then if it's too small or it's too much, then we're just gonna edit it. Okay. So inside this box layout we just made, we need to put another box layout. I'm gonna give this size int y of none and height. Just gonna set our height to, let's say, 30 display pixels. Just gonna be using 30 display pixels. Okay, we need to type this inside. Then we're gonna say heading. I think we need to set some padding on the left and right, and nothing on the top and bottom. So here we're gonna say 10 display pixels, 0. Then we're just gonna put some spacing inside our box layout of 10 display pixels. So now we need to create the rectangular line, rounded rectangle line around our box layout. So let's say canvas dot deform. Then we're gonna say color RGBA. Then we use that which okay, so it was 8D 8A 8C. Okay, 8D 8A 8C. Then here we're gonna say line. Then this one is going to be rounded rectangle So here we're gonna say self dot x, self y, self dot width, and self dot height. 1. Then our width, we're gonna set it to 1. So inside here we're gonna put a float layout. Then now we're gonna say size int x. I'm gonna set it to none. So this should be I, not you. Then width going to be self dot height. So this is going to be square. And inside this float layout, we're gonna put an MD icon. Then our icon is going to be count outline. Then we're gonna say theme text color. I'm gonna set this to custom. Then text color. Just gonna let's look at our login.png. So we're just gonna maintain this 8E8A8C gray color. So this is going to be okay. Then we're gonna give this position int. Here we're gonna say center x. Just gonna set it at 0.5. Then center y. Then we're gonna set it at 0.5 also, so that our MD icon is just gonna be centered center of our layout. Underneath our float layout, we're gonna put a text input. So we call our custom text input text field. I'm gonna say text field. Then we're gonna give this text field an ID. I'm gonna say login user. Then I'm gonna say multi-line. I'm gonna set it to false. Then hint text. We're gonna set it to, let's just keep it simple, username dot. Okay, so let's copy this and paste it underneath. So this is going to be password. So this is going to be login password. Let's make this login username. Then this one, let's look at our image. Okay, so it's a lock. Okay, let's go to our auth.kv. So this is going to be lock outline. Okay, if you look at our login.png, right, so we have this eye icon, right? So this is what is going to be triggering show or hide password. So let's put an MD icon button. Let me copy this and paste it underneath here. So this is going to be MD icon button. So here this should I off outline. So we need to implement an if statement inside our KV file. so that whenever the password feature is true, the I outline is just going to be I of outline. But then if it's false, it's just going to be I outline. Right. So you're going to say, excuse me. I just had a call a couple of days ago, so my phone hasn't returned. So you guys just have to bear with me. Okay. So you're going to say login. So we need to make this text field here. We're going to say password going to be true. Okay. So now we're just going to say if login password is equals to true, right? So it's just gonna be I of outline if login the password is equals to true, right? Else it's going to be I outline, right? Okay. So underneath here we're gonna say on press. So this is what's going to be happening when we press the MD icon button. Let's just say root dot let's call the function, let's just say show login. So show login password. So we haven't created this password yet, but we're just gonna create it soon. Then let's just run this and see how this looks. We need to, okay, let me just run it and see if we need to comment out the MD icon button. Yeah, I think we need to comment it out. Let's entwine none. Okay, where's our MD card? Okay. Whoa. So we need to get rid of, it's not this one. Okay, get rid of this. Let's run it again. We need to give this a white color. So let's Control Z here, then change this MDBG color to FFFFF. So just gonna put 6 Fs. Okay, looking much better. So let's look at our login.png. Minimize this. Okay, so we're just gonna put an error label underneath this password input field, right? Then a button, then this MD label. Yeah, I'm just gonna make it a button so that if we press it, right, it's just gonna take us to the register screen, sign up screen. So inside the auth screen, where were we? Okay. So here we're gonna say MD label. So we're gonna give this MD label an icon of login underscore error. So let's go to our splash.kv and just gonna copy this again and paste it underneath here. So we need to get rid of this. Type this inside. I'm gonna get rid of this text because this text is going to be passed on to this login error label. to get rid of this color. I believe this is alright. Then let's move on and create our button. So you're just gonna say button. I'm gonna say background normal. Just gonna put empty quotes here. Then we're gonna say, let me just copy this and paste it 2 more times. So this is going to be background down, then this is going to be background color. So this one we're just gonna set it to transparent, so it's going to be 0,0,0,0. Then we're gonna say size int y, and I set it to none, and our height, and I set it to 35 display pixel. We're gonna give it some text. So our text is login. Okay, login color. So our text color is going to be white. We're gonna say hashtag and put 6 Fs. Then we're gonna give the text font size of 12 scalable pixels. Then our font name is going to be f.bold. So if you open our init.py, right? So this is the app.bold. So the font is assets font open sans bold. Okay, let's go back to auto.kv. So here we're gonna say on press. For now we're just working on the user interface, right? So it's gonna say dot login, but this login function it's just going to be switching us to the home screen. It's not going to be doing any checking if the user is in the database and stuff. We're just going to do that later on inside this video, inside this tutorial. So here we're going to say canvas dot before. So here we're going to say color RGBA and RGBA in parentheses hashtag, and we're gonna say 556 E true F, and you're gonna say rounded triangle. Pause is going to be self pause. Then size is going to be self to size. Then we're gonna give this some edges of 5,5,5,5, so that we're just gonna have rounded. Underneath this button, let's look at our login. Okay, we need to create a button. So we're just gonna copy this and paste it underneath. But then we're just gonna get rid of the background color. So okay, we need to get rid of this, and I'm just gonna make this color 8D, 8A, 8C, and the text is not yet registered, sign up here. Okay, so not yet registered, sign here. So let's reduce this to, let's say, 9 scalable pixels for now. Then this needs to be app.bold. body. This let's call the function, let's say show register screen. So if we make the register screen, we're just gonna change this to show login screen. So let me just run this and see how it looks. I think I need to put an empty box layout underneath here so that it pushes everything up. But let me just run this first. Okay, it's looking okay. So there's no need to add an empty box layout underneath it. We just need to add some padding so that our float layout can be visible on the right side. Okay, let's go up here. So we need to add some padding here. We add it inside here. Let's add it inside here and see how it looks first. Okay, so let's take it and put it in. Yeah, let's put it inside. Okay, now what's happening? Yeah, but it's fine. Let me just put it on top here. Okay, now it's looking much better. So what we're gonna do, right? If you look at our register.png, so the layout is quite similar. The register screen one is just a little bit taller and it has an extra input field. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna copy the login screen, then we're just gonna paste it underneath the register screen, and we're just gonna make it. Let's go back here and copy everything from here to here. We'll see, and we're gonna paste it underneath it. Okay, so this is going to be show login screen. So this is going to be already registered sign in here. So this change needs to change to register. So remember we mentioned that we're not going to bring any registering login in logic here. We're just gonna keep this login function here, so that whenever we click this excuse me, we're just gonna switch to the home screen. Okay, so here let's just say this one, let's just call it error. Okay, this is going to be password. This is going to be this password. This is going to be username. Okay, so we need to copy this and duplicate it. Then this one is just going to be show password. Right, and this one is going to be password true. So this needs to be true. Then in text here, we're just gonna say repeat password. So we need to go to our auto Python so that we can implement the switching screen logic, so that we can see if our login screen is looking okay. So we're gonna say define show login screen. Then here we're gonna say self. Yes, this needs to be a dot fourth screen manager dot current equals to login screen. So let's copy this function and paste it underneath here. So this is going to be register here. So let's create the login function. So define login. Here I'm going to say md app dot. Let me just copy it from splash.py. Okay, so let's run our app. Okay, moment of truth. Okay, so we need to increase our height here. Our MD card height, need to increase its height. So, let's go to our auto.kv. Okay. So we added 35 display pixels. It was 30 display pixels, and we have 10 display pixels as spacing, so we need to add 40 display pixels. So this is going to be 390 display pixels. So let's run this again. Okay, so this is looking okay. So we need to create the show password functions. So let's go back to our auto.py file. So underneath here, we're gonna say define. The first one was show login password. So this one is due, and then let's put a new statement in here. So we're gonna say if self dot yes dot for the, let's look at our auto.kv. Let's login password. Login underscore password password. So if self.id.login password is equals to true, self dot, let me just copy this. Password, I'm gonna set it to false. Or let me copy this. Then I'm gonna say else. So if it's not true, we're gonna set the password to true. So let's run this. Okay. Self dot, okay. This should work now. Okay, so now let's copy this, paste it underneath here. We need to get rid of this. Is just going to be password. Duplicate this, so this is going to be password 2, and this is going to be password 2, and this is going to be show password. Need to fix this, so it's changing and showing passwords, right? But it's not changing the icons. So what I'm just gonna fix that, and I'm not liking how it's having this hover effect all over the whole ND card. So I'm just gonna switch this to a box layout and give the box layout a background color of white. But for now, let's work on these icons. So let's go to our auto.kv and look at the true else. So let's look at this. So this needs to be dot password. Okay, and this also dot password. Password. Okay. Okay, now it's working. So now let's make this a box layout and make sure that we don't have this hover effect here. Let's leave it for now. I'm just gonna come back to it later. Let me check if this register function is working properly. Okay, so now we switched to our home screen. So let's start working on our home screen. Okay, so let's get rid of this login and register screen. Let's navigate on assets. Okay, home.png. I need this. Okay, let's open our home.kv and home.py. So let's open our splash.kv. I'm just gonna copy this here, then go back to home.kv and paste it underneath here. And inside here, I'm gonna put an MD card, and I'm gonna say size int y. I'm gonna set it to none, and height, I'm gonna set it to 80 display pixels. Then I'm gonna get rid of our radius. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm just gonna get rid of the radius so it's here like a straight rectangle, right? No rounded corners. Then the reason why I'm using an MD card instead of box layout The way I'm gonna use it here is we're just gonna not display the shadows on the right, the left, and on the top. Just going to be at the bottom. So this is going to be 0. So we're gonna say theme bg color. I'm gonna set this to custom. Then here we're gonna say md bg color. So this is going to be white. So it's going to be 6 Fs. Then here, let's give it some spacing. Set it to 10 display pixels. Then I'm gonna give this some padding. So we're gonna say we're gonna give this some padding. Let's say 10 display pixels on the left. So let me just copy this and paste it 3 more times. Then now on the top we're gonna say 40. So we're gonna have 10 at the left and 10 at the right, 40 up and 40 at the bottom. So this is going to take up 40 display pixels. I believe we need to raise them to maybe 100. Okay, and inside this MD card, first one I'm gonna let's look at our home.png file, png image. So we have this menu icon, some text, and 3 icons on the right. So let's put a float layout here. And when I say size int x, so underscore x, set it to none, and the width is going to be self.height. So inside here we're gonna put an MD icon. So the icon is going to be menu. Yeah, making a lot of typos there. Then we're gonna say theme text color. I'm gonna set it to custom and text color. I'm gonna set it to, so it's this a green color. Let's open auth. Okay, there it is. So we're gonna paste it here. What did I just do? Okay. Then we need to give this positioning int. So we're gonna say pause int center x. I'm gonna set it to 0.5. So that's the center horizontally. Then I do the same for the vertical positioning. Then we're not gonna give this on press function just yet. So let's copy this and paste it 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. So the last one is logout. Here I say logout. Say on press going to be root log out. So we haven't created this function yet. This one, let's look at our image. Okay. So this one, let's put a bio. Then this one, we say mag. So let's run this. Okay, so we need to put our MD label here. That was after the first icons. We're gonna put it here. MD label. Say text. So here it says first app. We're gonna say to app. Then we're gonna say font style going to be title. Then raw going to be large. Code going to be true. Then we're gonna give green color. Okay. So let's put a empty box layout so that we can push everything. Okay. Let's just call it to do. Okay, this is looking much better. So now let's look at our image. Now we need to create this or like a hovering button. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a float layout. Inside the float layout, we're gonna put a scroll wheel in a grid layout. Then we're gonna put this button here, this section button. So let's go to our home.kv. Underneath here, so let's make this a float layout. I give this size int of 1,1. Then we're gonna put a box layout inside this float layout. When I give this box layout, let's give it some sizing. So then we're gonna give this composition. So let me just put empty spaces here. Get some space to work. Okay. This is going to be pause int center x is going to be 0.5, then center y is going to be the same, 0.5. Then inside this box layout, I'm going to put a scroll view. Then we're gonna say width, I'm gonna set it to 0. We're just gonna get rid of the scroll bar. Then we're gonna say color, I'm gonna set it to invisible. So this is to make sure that we don't see anything. Get rid of the scroll bar totally. Then we're gonna say size int y, I'm gonna set it to none. Then our height, we're gonna set it to self dot parent dot height. So this is going to be the size of this box layer since it is the parent widget. And inside this scroll view, we're going to add a grid layout. We're going to give this grid layout some padding of 5 display pixel. Then we're going to say calls 1. So we just want 1 to task displayed at a time, but in each row horizontal. So whatever to do, we're just gonna create, right? Just gonna stretch from left to the right. Then here we're gonna say spacing. So spacing is going to be 5 display pixels. Let me put this underneath one. Then on top here we're gonna say size int y is we're gonna set it to none, and our height I'm gonna set it to, let's say, self.minimum. Then I'm gonna give this an ID of, let's just say, to do list. And underneath our box layout, we're gonna put an MD card. Then we're gonna say size int, I set it to none, comma none. Then our size is going to be, let's say, 44 pixels, 44 display pixels. Then we're gonna say style going to be elevated, radius going to be 5,5,5,5. Then we're gonna say theme background color going to be custom. Then we're gonna say MD background color is going to be, let's add a green color. Is see let's give this position in. So I'm just gonna copy this, So this is going to be, let's say 9, and this is going to be 1. And inside this MD card, I'm gonna put an MD icon. So I'm gonna say icon. So let's look at our home.png. Okay, the icon should be plus. Here I'm gonna say plus. And so let me just copy this here. This is going to be 6 Fs. I don't think we're gonna need this position inside the MD card. This one is going to be open and model. So we haven't created this function yet. So let me just run this and see if I didn't make any errors. Okay, for image, okay, but I think we need to reduce the size we need it. So here I'm gonna say 0.0, let's say 8 for now. And here I need to say maybe 0.8, 8. Just bring it a little bit to the left. Okay. Let me Control C this. Let's go to flash.py. Just gonna copy this and let's open a session.json. I'm just gonna change this to 1. Okay. Now before we work on our warm.py file, we need to create these so that we can display our to-do tasks. So once we create this to-do task, right, the tab for it, right, that's when we're just gonna work on the home.py file so that we can fetch the data from, let's say, database, then we'll pass it to that to-do tab. Then we're gonna take that tab and display it on the home screen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna navigate to widgets, to our widgets folder, and then we're gonna open table. So underneath this builder.load string, say class, just gonna call it to do tab. So if you have a better name to call it, you can just call it that, but you just have to remember it working on. So let's just say let's use an MD card. We've been using MD card from the start, so let's just continue using it. So MD card pass. So okay, we're gonna need an ID. So an ID, let's make it a string property. Then we need a name of our task. So let's just say title. Then year, let's say when is the title due, the task due. Then priority level of our task. Then notes. So this is more like description of our task. I think we can get rid of this. Okay. So let's look at our home.png. So we have a checkbox, this update icon, delete icon, and this flame here. So this should be showing our priority levels that we have in our, that we're gonna implement in our system. So just gonna implement like 4 low, medium, high, agent. So okay. So we're gonna need 2 callbacks here. So let's go back to our tables.py. Okay, here it is. Here we're gonna say date callback. So we're gonna be using this one to update our tags, how to do tags. And then here we're gonna say object property. Inside here we're gonna say allow none equal to true. Let me duplicate this, and this is going to be delete callback. So now we can start working on our builder.load string. Copy this. Okay, paste it here. So we're gonna set the orientation here to vertical. Then we're gonna say size int. Set it to none, and our height, I set it to 100 display pixel. Then we're gonna give this some padding of 10 display pixels. Spacing of 10 display pixels. And style is going to be elevated. Radius is going to maintain 5.5 5. Color going to be, we're just going to set it to custom. Then AMD, and set it to white. So 6 Fs. Then inside this to do tab, and name the table at the top. I'm gonna give this size int. So let's look at our 100 page. Okay, so at the top we have a date here, so this is going to be when the task needs to be completed by. Then this is going to be our task type. So let's go back to our 100 table. Right. Size int y, set this to none, and height set it to let's say 20 display pixels. Text come from root.do font style going to label, then raw small, color is going to be 8B, 8A, 8C. And I need this one. I'm going to put an MD label again. So this is where we're going to put our title. We're going to say text. Text is going to come from title. So we're not going to give this any size or any height. Just going to take up the remainder of the space that's going to be left whenever it is out. Okay, text, then font style going to be the title. Or let's set it to medium. Then let's make the text bold. So bold is going to be true. Then here we're gonna say text size. So this is going to be self dot width none. So what we're trying to do here is whenever the title is too long, right, the MD label is just gonna shorten it and put 3 dots at the end. So here we're gonna say shorten going to be true, then shorten from, then we're gonna set this to height. Then underneath this MD label, put a box like then we're gonna give this a size int y none, then our height set it to 35 display pixels. We're gonna give this box layout some spacing of 10 display pixels. Inside this box layout, put a float layout. And I'm gonna say size x, set it to none, and width I set it to self dot height. So our float layout is gonna be the same, going up and going on the side, so it's just gonna be a square. And inside this float layout, I'm gonna add an MD. Let's look at our image. Okay, so for the first one, I'm just gonna make it an MD icon. No need to make it an MD icon. MD icon, then our icon is going to be name. I hope that's the name of the icon. Name, theme, text, color, going to be custom, then text color. So what we can do here is whenever, let's say, our priority level is going to determine the color of this icon. Okay. So what we can do is we can put if statement inside this KV file. So here it's going to be, let's say, red. It's 1,0.4 approach dot priority is equal to agent. Then we can say else. So this is going to be yellow if priority is equal to high. Then when I say else, 0, 1, 0, 0.4. So this is light green. Then when I say if priority is equal to medium, else let's make it blue. So 0, 0, 0.4. So let's give this position hint. For you, I say center X 5, then center Y. When I set it to 0.5 also. So let's copy this and paste it 3 times. Underneath this one, I'm just gonna put input an empty box layout so that we can have some space. So if you look at our home.png, right, our flame here is located on the right, and the rest of our icon, our flame is on the left. Then our icons are located on the side. So we're just gonna do that by putting an empty box layout to open these. So let's go back to tables.py. So this one here is going to be an empty icon button, and this one is going to delete. Outline. Then let's so this is going to be FF, yeah, this, then this one is going to be 8. So this one has to be an MD icon pattern. So we need to put the green color for us. Let's open auth. Okay. Let's paste it here. Let's look at our home.png. Then we have an MD checkbox. So here we're gonna say on press, we're gonna say root dot what did we call it? Update callback. And we're gonna pass root inside here. So let me copy this and I'm gonna paste it here, and this is going to be delete. So then here I need to get rid of this MD icon. Then when I say MD checkbox, so now I'm not gonna add any event to it. So say I'm just gonna give it a chain hint. Then I'm gonna get rid of this. Let me reduce the width of this because I need to use these ones here. Then let's open home.py. So above on enter function, I'm gonna put a variable. Let's just call it. So if you have a better name for this, please use it, because I have a bad taste when I'm naming things. So this variable is going to be this property. Right. And down here we're gonna say find get or so this is going to fetch everything. Let me just say plus for now. Then here I'm gonna say find on underscore So what we're gonna do here is, right, if this function, right, is called, right, it's gonna populate this property, and whenever this list property is disturbed, it's gonna call this function. So what we're gonna do is whenever something is added here, right, this variable is triggered automatically, and it's just gonna display all the to-do task in our list property. Right. So what we're gonna do here is say right, going to be let's put an empty string for now, an empty list. So since we're just gonna be using dummy for now, let's just put 3 items inside of this. Just gonna say 1, 2, 3. Right. Then here I'm gonna say self dot to use, and I'm gonna then I'm gonna set it to an empty list. So what we just did here, right, we set this to do's empty, right? So so whenever we update this variable, its list variable. It's gonna call this function here. So what this is going to do is it's just gonna empty our display. Since our to-dos is gonna be set to an empty list, right? Then if you have new information, that's when we're gonna load it after. So what we're trying to do is we're gonna clear our display, right? Then we're gonna load in new information each and every time we call this get auto. So let me just proceed this, get rid of this pass here. I'm gonna say self but right, so this is going to be called whenever home screen is on display. That's what they are on the interface. Okay, so here we're gonna say for to do and to do's, right? That's when in here we're gonna say data is going to be ID. So our ID is going to, let's say, since it's just dummy data, then this one is going to be title. Our title is let's say let's create first mobile app together. So this is gonna help test if the shortening thing we did to our MD label worked. So just gonna put a long string in it. Then underneath here we're gonna say Jew. So I'm recording this on the 14th of Feb. So let me just say 15 Feb. So 15 dash Feb dash 2025. And then whenever we will be using when we'll be adding the data, right, I'm just gonna be entering in a proper format. So this is just me doing something so that we can just continue and test if our user interface is working. Then underneath this we're gonna say priority. So so let's set our priority to edges. Then notes. I'm just gonna okay. Then when this is done, I'm gonna say self dot and data. So now whenever we're running like, since we have 3 items now, to just gonna add 3 information into our self dot use list property variable, right? Then when this is called, we're just gonna add 3 to do tabs onto our screen. So now let's get rid of its pass here, and I'm gonna say table. So table is going to be self.ideas. When we look at our if, okay, we'll call this a list. Okay, and paste it here. So for now I don't need this. Let me just maximize this. Then I'm gonna say table dot clear widgets. So our own function, right, on our to-dos function, right, it's triggered whenever the main to-dos function is disturbed, right? So the first thing that we do is we clear the our display, right, our home screen. So the reason we're doing this is let's say we don't have information. Let's say we had like two or one to task in our on our display, right? Then we delete that to do task. Right. So in our database we're gonna have 0 item. But then inside our to-dos for our list property, we're gonna have one to-do task. So what we did is before we add anything, we clear this to-dos variable, so that whenever we clear it, we're gonna call this on to do on to-dos function is gonna be called automatically. Then it's gonna clear everything before it does anything. So it's going to clear our display, and our display is going to be empty, right? So when our for loop adds the information to our to-dos list property, then it's gonna, these are the function that's triggered when to-dos function is disturbed. Just gonna add fresh information, because it's gonna clear everything first, then it's gonna add information after, right? So inside our on to-dos function, we're gonna say put a for loop. Then we're gonna say for do and do's. Yeah, I have the worst naming taste in the world, bro. Okay, let's continue. Table. So here let's call this table row, because we already used the name table. So table rows equal to, now we go for our do tab. Okay, so it's imported up here. Fine. Then you're gonna say table row dot id. Close this tables.py out way too early, so let me just send it right. Okay, so our id is a string property, not tab, but okay, string. Fine. Say do so here we have 1 2 3 4, 5. Here we're gonna say this is going to be title, this is going to be Jew, this is going to be priority, and this is going to be out. So this is going to be update, go back, and this is going to be delete, go back. So we need to create this. Let's just say self delete to do bugs. Let's just say pass for now. Let me duplicate this, and this is going to be 8. So now So now this is to make sure that if we click the icon buttons by mistake, we don't get any errors and the system doesn't just shut down. So let me just run this and see if we didn't get any errors. Okay, that seems to be the problem now. Okay, name priority is not defined. Okay, okay. For this labels to try. Okay, okay, this should be root start. So let's rerun this. What seems to be the problem now? So I should be getting a widget displayed here. Okay, let's go to home.py. So after all this, we didn't add. But here we need to say table dot add widget table on this. So let's rerun this. Okay. Let's go to table.py. We need to tab these. Okay, let's rerun this. Okay, this is looking so much better. But I don't see our flame displayed here. Okay, and we need to move this to the right because it's on the right on the home.png. Yeah, it's on the right side. Okay, let me just Control D these and put one here. Now let me look at home.py. Okay. This one I'm gonna say H line, and we're gonna align this to the right. So let's rerun this. Okay, so it's on the right. Now we need to fix the flame icon. Okay, here's our flame icon. Yeah, I think it's let's try fire. Yeah, I think fire will work. So let's rerun this. need to work on the width of our MD icon button. I need to get rid of this. And have these outside here. Okay, now this is way too much better. Now we just need to reduce the opacity of this, maybe 0.75. So here I'm just gonna copy it from the back here. This, and this is going to be 0. Let's say 8. Let's check out 8. Okay, now it's looking way much better. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna end it. Then in the next video I'm just gonna work on adding, deleting, updating all our tasks, logging out. Let's just fix logging out real quick. Then we're just gonna end the video. So let's go back to our home.py file. Okay, let's go to the bottom. Here we're gonna say fine log. Well, let me say pass for now. I need to confirm something. Inside the home.kv. Oh, okay, we called it log. It's fine. So let's proceed. So here we're gonna say logout is equal to in our widgets folder, in our pop-ups, right, we have our confirm pop-up widget. So I'm just gonna call it here. Okay, here it is. Okay, it's been imported. And here I'm gonna say logout dot title, and it's going to be you want to log out. Then we're gonna say logout dot go back is equal to self dot logout underscore go back. Then I'm gonna say logout dot open. So let me copy this, and then underneath here I'm gonna say step define from bugs. Excuse me. And here I'm gonna say md. Let me just open splash.py, and let me just copy this one, this line, and paste it here. Then let's import this. So let's run this and see if everything is working. Okay. Sure, we want to log out. Okay, so just press enter twice. So what we're gonna do here, right? If you look in our template folder, we have this session.json file. So what we're gonna do now is whenever we log out, just make sure that this user ID is set to 0. Then if you have a username or a user already logged, this is gonna be empty now. since we're not gonna have a user logged in inside our session.json. So what we're gonna do here is up here we're gonna say session underscore file is equal to session.json. Then we're gonna say with open session file, then we're gonna put a W since we're gonna write inside the session file as file json dot dump. So this is what we're gonna write inside our JSON file. User underscore ID, gonna set it to 0, and username we're gonna set it to nothing, just like this. Then we're gonna say comma file. So just like this. So whenever we log out of our system, right, the user ID is gonna be updated to 0 and our username is dead. So let's open our session.json file. Right? So here we have 1. Then inside our username, let me just put let's just do this and let's run this system. Okay. So now we see that our session.json is completed. So what we're gonna do after this is I have to work on the logic of adding to do task and updating and deleting it. So what we're gonna do is let's first create the mechanism to be able to upload the information to a database. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna navigate to our widgets folder and our model.py file. Then here we're gonna say plus so we did to do tab, so let's do to do model. So this is gonna inherit from a model here. So let me just copy everything we did in our tables.py file. Okay, so let's get rid of this for now. Okay, so here's our tables. I'm just gonna copy everything here. And I'm gonna paste it here. So this is just going to be fallback. And I'm gonna duplicate this and change this to close. Then underneath here, I'm gonna say find on close. So this is when the close variable is disturbed or it's updated. This is what's going to be triggered after we send information to this close variable. So here is going to be instance, and here we're gonna say close. So if this close variable is disturbed, right, I'm just gonna say self dot dismiss. So we're gonna use this right whenever we updating our information or editing. So the moment you press save, we're gonna create a button called, we're gonna label it save or add. So whenever we click this button, right, it's also going to update this close variable, and it's gonna close the model view, then do whatever action we want to do, right? So let's do the same for title due, priority, and notes. I'm just gonna copy this, then duplicate it. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's put some space underneath here so that we can work on it properly. So here, right, so this is going to be title. This is going to be due. This is going to be priority, and this is going to be notes. So let's get rid of this one. So on title, right, I'm gonna say self dot ideas dot title dot text is equal to title. So I'm gonna copy this statement and paste it here. So this is going to be due, and this is going to be priority, and this is going to be notes. Right. So we're going to need a date picker here so that we can be able to select out. So we're gonna put it up here. So we're gonna call our function show date picker. Then here we're gonna say date picker is equal to md model date picker. So inside here we're gonna say cream color. We're gonna say 0.3 for red, 0.4 for green, 0.1 for blue. Then we're just gonna make the opacity 0.5. Then we're gonna give this a radius of 5,5,5,5. Then size int. Gonna say 0.9 going horizontally, then 0.8 the vertical sizing. So this will be a size int y, right? Then here I'm gonna say date picker dot bind. Then we're gonna bind on OK. So this is when we press the OK button to select our date. This is going to be self dot on, let's say date OK. So we haven't created this function yet, so let me just duplicate this. So this is going to be on cancel. On date cancel. Then here we can just say date picker dot open. So here we're gonna say define gonna say self, okay, instance date picker. Then we're gonna say instance then here we're gonna say self dot ideas dot do dot text is equal to a string. So inside here we're gonna say instance dot date instance underscore date picker dot get underscore date, excuse me, parentheses, then index 0, just like this. So I'm just gonna copy this and paste it underneath there. Then I'm gonna change the function to, then I'm gonna get rid of this line here. So with these three functions, right, I should be able to add a date for our label, like our date picker inside our model field, right? So let's go work on our build the plot string. So let me just copy this. Then we're gonna say background. So I'm just gonna put empty quotes. Then we're gonna say background color. So we're gonna set this to invisible. So that's 0,0,0. Then here we're gonna put a box layout. Inside this box, we're gonna give this box layout an orientation of vertical, and we're gonna give this some padding of 10 display pixels. We're gonna give it some spacing. Let's set this to 40 display pixels. This should be fine. Then we're gonna give this a background color, say canvas dot or, and here we're gonna say color RGBA. Let's put white. So this 1,1,1,1. Let's give this some, let's just keep it just a rectangle, no need to have rounded edges. So rectangle, we're gonna say pause is going to be self dot pause. Then our size is going to be self dot size. Then inside this box layout, we're gonna put a box layout. We're gonna give this size and y, which we're gonna set to none, and our height we're gonna set it to let's do 30 display pixels. Then I'm gonna give this some spacing of, let's just maintain 10 display pixels. So inside this box layout, right, so we're not gonna give it an orientation. So we're gonna put in, let's put a front layout. Let's give it a size index of none and width When I set it to self dot height, then inside this float layout, we're gonna put an MD icon button. Our icon is going to be arrow left. So this is gonna act as our back button, so that we're gonna go back from our model view back to our home screen. Here we're gonna say theme text color. It's going to be custom. In our text color, let's make it a gray. So let's use last time we used AD8A8C. We're just gonna maintain this one. Then gonna say on press. So we're gonna say here quote dot dismiss. So this is a function already inside our model view. So we're just gonna dismiss everything, more like a pause button. Then here we're gonna give this a position int. We're gonna say center x. So center x is going to be set to 0.5, and we're gonna give center y. We're just gonna give it the same value. We're gonna say center y, and we're gonna set it to 0.5. So this is going to be at the center of our float layout. Then next to our float layout, we should put an MD label. We don't have to give this a size int because it's already inside a box layout with size, so let's not give it a size. Let's put some text. Now we're gonna say my task. Okay. Then we're gonna say font style. We're gonna set up font style to, let's set it to title. Then row is going to be set to small for now. So gonna look at how it looks first, and if it looks okay, gonna keep it at small. But if we need to enlarge it a bit, then I enlarge it. Then we're gonna say bold true, so our text will be bold font. Okay. Then underneath the box layout, I'm just gonna put an empty box layout so that I can be able to push everything upwards. So we need to go back to our home.py file. Let me clean this up. Okay, I go, you also, and you. Okay, so let's keep it like this for now. So we need to go back to our home.kv file. We need to implement two functions so that we can be able to, if we click like the update callback and the delete callback or the add button, right, be able to show our model on our screen. So to do that, right, underneath this one, I'm just gonna, okay, let's add a comment here. I'm just gonna say open models. So the first one, I'm just gonna say define open add model. So this is to open the model whenever we want to add something, right? Then here I'm gonna say to do. Then I'm just gonna give it a model which is made right now. So we called it do model. So let's import this. Okay. Here I'm gonna say add to do dot. So we give this a callback, right? I'm gonna set this callback to itself dot I'm just gonna give it the same name. And I'm gonna say add to do dot open. Right. So let me just work on this adding function. Let me just put a comment here. Then add. Okay. So fine. Gonna himself and the instance of our model view. So we're gonna have a title. Since we're gonna add a title to our task or to our to-do task, we're gonna say title. Title is going to be instance dot yes dot title dot text. Let me copy this. Second one, what order to use? Due. Okay. So this is going to be due. This is going to be priority. And this is going to be notes. So let's open buttons, the buttons.py file inside of it. Okay, so here's our custom dropdown. So inside the custom dropdown, we have MD icon and the spinner. So we're gonna put this custom dropdown inside our model, but we're not gonna be able to get the text on our spinner or adding a text to our spinner the same way we're gonna do like getting the title and notes or the date when our to-do task needs to be completed. So what we're gonna do here when choosing our priority, right? We're gonna say instance.ids.priority. So here we're just gonna call the excuse me. Wait. This might work because we're not gonna be able to set our priority levels, right? So this is going to work because remember we only set 4 priority levels when we were making our to-do tab, right? So this might actually work. So let's leave it like this for now. Okay. Then we need another second model because we have add. We're gonna update using one model. So here when I'm gonna say fine open update model. So this is gonna take the instance of the model view. So I'm gonna copy this and paste it underneath here, right? So this is going to be update. So here I'm gonna say update to do dot title. So what I'm trying to do here with this function is whenever I click the update function, I'm gonna take the information from the to do tab and pass it to the model. So since we have the same variables for our to do tab and our to do model, I'm just gonna populate those variables straight from the to do tab straight to the model view. I'm gonna say update dot title is equal to instance dot title. I'm gonna copy this and duplicate it 3 more times. So this is going to be due, and this is going to be priority, and this is going to be notes. So this is going to be update. So we need to create this function. Underneath our add to do, put a comment, say define, and paste this here. So I believe we're gonna need an ID. So let me duplicate this. Because we need an ID to update. We're gonna need an ID to update our attributes inside our. So yeah, let's put a comment here. So this is going to be update. We're gonna need a comment here. We're gonna put our delete function. So this is going to be delete. Okay, so we need to copy this here and paste it underneath here. Then here we're gonna say ID is going to be instance dot ID. It's like this. I need to get rid of these because we no longer use this. Let me duplicate this comment, and this one is going to be log out. Okay, so we need to create this delete to do. Underneath here I'm gonna say fine instance, then here I'm just gonna say pass. So this should be enough to show our model views on our screen and close it. We're gonna be using that to make sure that our model view is coming out alright. So let me just run this to see if I didn't make any errors. Okay, so our username was what? The Mac, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That was our password. Okay, so let's log in. Okay, so let's click this. So what we need to do is we need to go to models.py file. So here, right, we haven't put these widgets with the title and due ID, priority ID, and notes ID. So for now, I'm just gonna comment on these and rerun this. And then we're gonna have an excuse me. So we need to make sure that whenever we log in, we don't have to log in every time we run the system. Here I'm just gonna say it's another Peter. Also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Oh, let's press here. Okay. Let's go back to home.py and let's implement this one now. What did it say? So let's go to, we need this one here. The only way we can fix it is when we working on our logging in and functions. So for now, we're just gonna have to, and we haven't actually made like, I don't know why I was actually doing that, but it's fine. I'm just gonna be pressing the login button and just gonna log in. Okay, so it's fine. Let's go back to, let's rerun this. Okay, so this is no longer doing anything. Let's check this one out. Okay, so here's our mode of so for now I'm just gonna work on this using the add button. See our mode of view. When I'm done using this, then I'm just gonna uncomment everything and work on the update button tab. Okay, so this is what we're working on our model. So let's proceed. Let me minimize this. Go back to models.py. Uncomment this. So the last box layout we added, right? We have an image of this images. We don't. Okay, it's fine. Let's just freestyle here. So we're gonna give this box layout some spacing of say 10 display. So with this box layout, right now, what I'm trying to do is when we edit okay, we have it open here. When we edit this up for the first box layout, we will 30 display pixels is our height, right? We created it's more like a taskbar, like a navigation bar. Then we give some spacing between this box layout and the next box layout we're working on. That we're gonna have some spacing. Then underneath there, that's when we're gonna put our text fields, our title text field, our date selection icon, our custom drop down to select the priority level, and another text field to add our notes. Right. So that box layout and the one acting as our navigation bar are gonna be separated by 40 display pixels, and the rest everything else is gonna be separated by 10 display pixels. Okay, going back to our IDE. So here, right, we need to give this box layout some orientation, and we're gonna set this to vertical. Inside this box layout, put let's open alt.kv. Okay, just gonna copy this from here to here, then go back to models.py and paste it here. Okay, so I need to give what title, so I need to paste it 3 more times. 4. So we need to get rid of. So the last one is gonna act as our notes, right? Our notes input field. So we need to get rid of the height so that it's just gonna be bigger. We need to get rid of this icon here. This is going to be notes. Multi-line is going to be false. This is going to be notes. Let's just say optional here, so that the user will know that it's okay not to enter information in the notes is actually optional. Let's run this. Okay, this is looking okay. So we're gonna need an icon title. So just wanna put a calendar here. Then here, so say in our to-do tab, we are using a flame to represent our priority level. So I'm just gonna put a flame here. Okay. Let's open our table file. We were having issues with our flame icon, if I don't remember properly, of fire. So this is fire. This is our calendar. Then this year, I'm gonna say format title. This ID is going to be title. So this is going to be title here. So we need to change this up. We need to add let me copy this and paste it underneath this text field here. So this is going to be an MD icon button. Here this needs to be an MD label. Our ID is going to be Jew. Okay, and I say font style is going to be label, and for going to be, let's say it was small. Here we're gonna say on press, let's say dot, what did we call it? Show date picker. Picker. Okay, here. Then here we need to add a custom. So our custom drop down is gonna have some text of select priority level. We're gonna have values. Excuse me. The first one is going to be agent, and the next one is going to be high. The next one is going to be medium, and the last one is going to be low. Okay, I believe we need to add an icon. Now we don't need. Let's just leave it like this. So let's run this and see how it looks. Okay, so we need to make this darker than the one on the left, so that it actually stands out. Okay, so this is working. This is working. So we need to put an error label and a button. So we can just copy these from Python.kv. So let's copy this. And paste it underneath here. So let's just change this to model error, and this one needs to be then we're gonna pass in route in here. This needs to be saved. So let's run this. Okay, this is looking okay. So let's start working on adding our to-do task inside our database. So here I'm gonna create a file. I'm just gonna call it SQLite .py. So I'm gonna paste some code here, right? You're gonna find this file inside the template folder. I'm gonna leave a link to in the description. So if you run this SQLite.py, it should create our databases and create our database and our table. So all you have to do is just run the SQLite.py file. So now I'm just gonna paste something here. I'm just gonna paste this code here. Then I'm gonna run this. Okay, So underneath our SQLite.py file, I have this todo.db. So this is going to be a database. I'll be using SQLite 3 for this. So I'm just gonna close this, then go to home.py, right? So I need to add user underscore ID is equal to, let's make it a string property. Okay. Here I'm gonna add a function. So this function is to fetch the user ID from our database. Okay, I'm gonna say self dot get underscore user underscore ID. So now let's create this function. So let me put it here. Fine. Self. Okay. I'm gonna say try. So what this does, this get user function, right? So I don't have to get the user ID straight from the database, but we can get it from our session.json. So I'm gonna say session underscore file is equal to session.json. Then here we're gonna say with open session file. Then here we're gonna put in R, since we're just gonna be reading from our session.json as file. Then here we're gonna say self dot user ID is equal to skip the step here, session is equal to json.load. Then what are we loading? Loading file. So this is going to be session dot get user underscore ID. This. So now we're just gonna fetch our user ID whenever the home screen is on display. Here when I say accept file not found error, just gonna return none, like this. So now we're able to fetch our user ID. So the reason we were doing this is whenever I use ID inside the system, right, and we're gonna use that user ID to add something, add to our database, to update, to fetch data from our database. Most importantly, fetch data from our database. So now we should be able to fetch data. So what we're gonna do is go down to the function below it, the get all to do function. So we're gonna get rid of the first line. Okay. Then we're gonna go underneath this self.use. Then we're gonna say on is equal to SQLite dot connect, and we're connecting to do.db. So let me import this. Okay, then I'm gonna say cursor is equal to on dot cursor. Then here when I say cursor dot execute, and what are we executing? Select all from, so we have a table inside our to do database. We name to underscore do where user underscore ID is equal to question mark, comma, then you want to say self dot user ID, comma, just like this. And here we're gonna say is equal to cursor dot fetch all. Right. So in here we're gonna say, I'm going to copy this. So this is going to be 0. So let me just copy this. Then paste it here. Here. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now let's go to our add to do function. Here when I say if title is empty or due is empty or priority, so let's go to models.py. Okay. Oh. So we're not gonna put notes because we remember we said notes is optional. So here I'm gonna say instance dot ideas dot model error dot text, going to be filling the required fields. So let's duplicate this. This is going to be red, and this text into color here. I'm gonna change it to color. Then I'm gonna say if we don't get any, if our title is not empty or due is not empty or priority is not select priority level, we're going to, so we're gonna do this under the else part. We're gonna say instance dot close. So let's just pass close. So remember, when we're creating that close variable inside our model file. So right now, right? So now since we are done with checking for errors, now we're gonna make sure we close the model flow, and we're already taken the title, do the priority, the not variable. So we're just gonna close the model flow. Not gonna need it. Then here we're gonna say let's go to the top here. Just on enter function, let's say self dot add to do. This is going to be an empty list. Let me duplicate this two more times. So this is going to be date, and this is going to be delete, right? So this one is going to be set to none. So let's go back. We go here. We're gonna say self dot add to do is equal to, so we're gonna send our title. So let me copy this. Do priority and not. Okay. So this is going to be due, and this is going to be priority, and this is going to be notes. So here I'm gonna say add underscore to do. So this is going to be we need to, so inside our widgets folder we have pop-ups here. So I'm gonna call this confirm pop-up. We have copied this. Let's go back to home.py. I'm gonna paste it here in parentheses. Okay, so it's already imported. Okay, so here I'm gonna say add to do dot title, let's say are you sure you want to add this to do task? Then a question mark. And here I'm gonna say add to do dot go back is equal to and so let me copy this. So here I'm gonna say define self comma store bug like this. Then here I'm gonna say title is equal to add to 20% self first. So self dot so this is going to be at index 0. So let me duplicate this. So this is going to be due priority and notes. This is going to be at index 1, 2, and 3. Right. So now we need to add these into our database. So here I'm gonna say con. Let me just copy this. You have to do it every. Then I'm gonna say cursor dot execute. Right, so here I'm gonna say insert into to do. So we're gonna insert title due priority notes, then user ID. So we're gonna add values. One, so one. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have 5 possible. Okay. So here I'm gonna pass the values. So excuse me. Okay, so title due priority notes and self dot user ID. And here I'm gonna say on dot commit, then on dot close. Then here I'm gonna say self get auto do, so that after we've added our information, just gonna forward the get auto do so that people create our table on our screen. Okay, so let's run this and see if this works properly. Okay, seems to be the issue now. No search view and views form .a station file. This should work. Oh, okay, I think I see the problem. So we need to change the run function from current file to main. Okay. So okay, form.useID accept only string. Let's just change it to numeric property, just to make it simpler for everyone. So now we don't have anything in our database, right? Let's just look at session.json. Okay, so everything is set to 0, right? Okay, fine. Let's just add something. Then the user ID part excuse me, then the user ID part in our to do table just gonna be set to 0. So let's open our okay, so title, then our date, agent, okay. So let's save this. That seems to be the problem now. Add to do instance.ids.priority.text. Let's first look at our models.py. So we didn't give this an ID. Okay, so let's rerun this. Filling the required fields. So yeah, I think we need to, let's go back to our home.py, because if we look at our buttons.py, right, we were trying to fetch the text that is in our spinner here. So when you give the ID of priority, you give it to this custom dropdown. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this custom dropdown and fetch the text in our spinner with an ID of spinner. So let's try this first. If it works, if it doesn't, we're gonna find out another way to fetch the priority. So here we're gonna say instance.ids.priority.spinner.text, like this. So let's rerun this. I hope this works. Test number 4. Okay. Are you sure you want to add? We need to fix this here. Okay, to do tab.id accept only string. So this accepts only string, right? So let's write this inside parentheses. Then we're gonna say okay. ID accept only string. So we made this to a string, right? So what we can do is oh, okay, I see the issue. So we priority, this was supposed to be notes, right? So let's make it a string here so that it's turned to a string straight from the database. So let's run this again. Hope we don't get any more errors. Okay, so we have added our first to-do task. So now let's work on updating it and deleting it. So we're just gonna copy all of this paste it down here. Here we're gonna need an ID. So it's going to be instance dot ID. So this is going to remain the same. This is going to be update. Here we need to pass in our ID. Just like this. We need to copy this. And minimize this and create some. Right here I'm gonna say define update to do underscore rollback stir bugs. Then here I'm gonna say ID is equal to self dot update to do index 0. So let me copy this, control this, control D, then control V, excuse me. So this one is going to be at index 1, this is going to be at index 2, 3, and 4. Control D this. We're just gonna fix this at the same time. Okay. So let me copy this and paste it here. This needs to be update. Are you sure you want to update? Let's look at it a little bit further. Okay, this is looking okay. Fine. So let's copy this here. So this one is going to be update to do set right. Let's just make this into one line. This needs to be where ID is equal to question mark what's going to be update title. Let me just copy this here. So we don't need to update the user ID. We need to get rid of it here. Then this is going to be ID. Let me just look at it. Update to do set title do where ID. I believe this is okay. So Let's just rerun our system and take it working properly. Wait, before we look at it, let's go up here. Notes. Okay, seems to be working fine. So, uh, instance title. Okay. Instance type text. So let's look at models. So we have title. So let's go down here. We need to go back to our home.py, right, and check everything from the top. Okay. Okay. So here, right, we were calling this update function. Excuse me, but what we need to be calling is this one. So we need to copy this one and pass it here. Let's run it. This should fix it. Okay, so let's change this to 5. Okay, so our update functionality is working properly. So let's work on the delete functionality real quick. Okay. So we need to scroll down. Okay, so there's the so here's our delete functionality. So let's just work on it real quick. So let's get rid of this pass, and here we're gonna say self dot delete to do is equals to instance dot id, because that's what we're just gonna be using. So here we're gonna say, let me just copy this, delete to do is equal to confirm pop-up, delete to do dot title. Let's set it to you sure you want to delete this to do task. Then you're gonna say delete to do dot callback is equal to self dot delete to do callback. Then you're gonna say delete to do dot open. So let me just copy this. Then underneath here, say define. It's gonna be self comma star args. Then you're gonna say id is equal to self dot delete to do. So let me just copy all of this and paste it here. So this is going to be delete from to do where id is equal to, okay. So now we need to get rid of this and this. So we're just gonna be left with our id. Okay, just like this. So let's run this. Okay, log in. Are you sure you want to delete this to do task? Okay, so our to-do task has been deleted successfully. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna end this video here. Then I'm just gonna upload another one into this time. So other one we're just gonna work on the logging in, registering, then we're just gonna make a few changes to our user interface.